Once upon a time in the bustling city of Owerri, a group of 12 university students prepared to travel back home for the Christmas holidays. The group consisted of 8 vibrant young women and 4 energetic young men, all looking forward to reuniting with their families and enjoying the festive season. They had hired a minibus to take them to their various destinations, joking and laughing as they embarked on their journey. They sang Christmas carols, sharing snacks, and discussing plans for the holidays. Little did they know, a sinister fate awaited them. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the minibus approached a remote stretch of road. Suddenly, an armed gang emerged from the shadows, forcing the vehicle to a screeching halt. The students screamed in terror as the kidnappers, masked and menacing, herded them into a waiting van. Their phones were confiscated and blindfolds were tied around their eyes, plunging them into darkness. Their laughter and cheer had turned into muffled cries and hushed prayers as they were driven away into the unknown. The students were taken to an unknown location, a secluded hideout deep in the forest. Their captors demanded hefty ransoms, threatening dire consequences if the families failed to pay. The students' terror grew as they were divided into groups. The captors' cruelty was evident as they made phone calls to their families, forcing them to listen to their children's cries for help. Only 3 students, Neka, Chidi, and Amaka, were released after their wealthy families paid the demanded sums. The remaining 9 were left to face an uncertain fate. Among the remaining students were Ada, an intelligent and bold young woman who often took charge in difficult situations, Kemi, a kind-hearted but soft-spoken girl, and Tunde, a resourceful and determined young man who never shied away from challenges. These students, along with the others, bonded over shared stories and fears, trying to comfort one another during their ordeal. Despite their dire circumstances, Ada's natural leadership began to emerge, and she silently resolved to find a way out. The captors, realizing that the remaining families could not raise the ransom, decided to sell the students to Miss Veronica. Known as a stunning but ruthless woman, Miss Veronica ran a high-end brothel in Lagos, where young women and men were trafficked and forced into servitude. The 9 students, still blindfolded and gagged, were transported to her establishment in Lagos under the cover of night. The journey was long and grueling, with their captors mocking and intimidating them along the way. By the time they arrived, the students were exhausted and emotionally drained. Miss Veronica was a cunning businesswoman who operated her brothel like a fortress. Upon their arrival, the students were stripped of their identities and given numbers instead of names. Each was assigned to a small, dimly lit room furnished with only the bare necessities. They were instructed to serve customers brought to them by Miss Veronica's loyal staff. The students were forbidden from interacting with each other, and their isolation deepened their despair. Armed guards patrolled the premises day and night, making escape seem impossible. Among the students, Eda refused to accept her fate. Though she was terrified, she began to observe the brothel's routines and weaknesses. Eda silently communicated with the others through small notes hidden in their food trays, rekindling their hope and uniting them in their resolve to escape. Kemi's gentle demeanor helped her earn the trust of one of the less vigilant guards, while Tunde's mechanical skills allowed him to tamper with locks and surveillance equipment when the guards were distracted. Weeks turned into months, and the students endured unimaginable horrors. Yet, they clung to Ada's leadership and their shared determination. Ada devised a daring plan. During a rare power outage, they would overpower a guard and use his keys to escape. The students prepared themselves, using whatever they could find as weapons and rehearsing their plan in whispers. They also crafted a makeshift map of the brothel, piecing together information about its layout from their limited movements within the building. The opportunity finally came during a heavy rainstorm when the brothel's power supply faltered. The storm's howling winds and relentless downpour masked the sounds of their movements. The students executed their plan with precision, subduing a guard and unlocking the main gate. In the chaos, Ada's quick thinking allowed them to disable a crucial security system, buying them precious minutes to escape. They ran into the rain-soaked streets of Lagos, splitting up to evade capture. Ada led a group of 5 to a nearby police station, while Tunde and the others found refuge in a crowded marketplace where they could blend in with the locals. At the police station, the officers were initially skeptical of their story, but Ada's detailed accounts and the students' condition convinced them to act swiftly. The police launched a coordinated raid on the brothel, arresting Miss Veronica and her accomplices. The operation also uncovered evidence of a vast human trafficking network that extended beyond Lagos, leading to the arrest of several other key figures. The students were reunited with their families, their ordeal making headlines across the nation. The trial that followed exposed the dark underbelly of human trafficking, and Miss Veronica received a life sentence. The students, though scarred by their experience, became advocates against human trafficking, sharing their story to inspire change. Ada, in particular, used her voice to push for stronger laws and greater awareness about the plight of trafficking victims. In Owerri, the community came together to support the students' healing process. They were offered counseling, scholarships, and opportunities to rebuild their lives. Their tale of resilience and unity became a modern folktale, a reminder of the strength that lies in solidarity and the pursuit of justice. The students' lives were forever changed, but their courage lit a beacon of hope in the fight against oppression and exploitation. Years later, Ada and Tunde co-founded an organization dedicated to rescuing and rehabilitating victims of human trafficking. Their efforts were recognized both locally and internationally, proving that even in the face of unimaginable adversity, the human spirit can triumph. Although the brothel had been dismantled and Miss Veronica imprisoned, remnants of her network remained active. Ada and Tunde uncovered evidence that a splinter group was targeting vulnerable communities in remote areas. Determined to dismantle this network, they began collaborating with law enforcement and international NGOs. The students' escape had sparked hope among other victims, leading Ada and Tunde to revisit the original hideout where they had been held. The abandoned site held clues to additional operations, including hidden ledgers and coded messages that pointed to accomplices yet to be captured. The other students joined Ada and Tunde in their advocacy efforts, sharing their stories on media platforms and at community events. Their personal accounts of resilience resonated deeply, inspiring many to join the fight against trafficking. Kemi began working with survivors directly, offering counseling and support to rebuild their lives. The group's efforts drew the attention of international human rights organizations. Ada and Tunde were invited to global summits where they shared their insights and strategies. Their story highlighted the critical need for cross-border cooperation to combat trafficking networks. As the organization grew, a trusted ally turned out to be leaking information to the remnants of Veronica's network. This betrayal nearly led to a major setback when a planned rescue operation was ambushed. The group regrouped, identifying the mole and tightening security protocols. Realizing the need for long-term support for survivors, the team established a safe haven in Owerri. This facility offered education, job training, and therapy, ensuring survivors could rebuild their lives in safety and dignity. The organization's impact spread far and wide, inspiring similar initiatives across Africa. Ada and Tunde became symbols of hope, reminding everyone that even in the face of unimaginable adversity, unity and resilience could bring about meaningful change. The years that followed were filled with challenges, but the team's resolve never wavered. They continued to dismantle trafficking networks, save lives, and advocate for stronger policies. Their story became a legend, passed down as a modern African folktale that celebrated courage, justice, and the power of the human spirit to overcome darkness. The fight against trafficking took Ada and Tunde to some of the most dangerous parts of the continent. They traveled to border regions, collaborated with underfunded local agencies, and organized awareness campaigns. During one such campaign in a remote village, they unearthed another trafficking operation. This ring was more sophisticated, employing technology to hide its activities and lure victims through social media platforms. Ada's technical knowledge and Tunde's knack for logistics proved invaluable as they worked with cybersecurity experts to dismantle the operation. It took months of surveillance, undercover work, and planning, but the operation ended with dozens of traffickers arrested and hundreds of victims freed. The rescue efforts were emotionally overwhelming, but seeing the victims' gratitude strengthened their resolve. Despite these successes, Ada and Tunde faced personal struggles. The toll of their work weighed heavily on their mental health,